What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, what I'll be doing is not a full system upgrade, but just a partial upgrade to my sound system. My GT came with the upgraded sound system, which isn't bad. Not bad at all. By any means is it bad. I have the 7-inch screen. It does have the factory sub in it, which sounds pretty decent for what it is, but I do like a little more thump than what it gives me on the low end wise. I'm going to be adding a factory amp, not a factory amp, but aftermarket amp, and a 10-inch sub. Both amp and sub are from Scar Audio. I went with the single because I don't want too much, but I do want to have a little more sound coming out of my system. And I'll be doing a little sound deadening. Don't know how well this is going to work or if it's going to work at all. I've used it in the past again in other cars, but they were cars and not Jeeps. So we'll see how that works. I'll be removing the carpet from the whole vehicle and the 2 front seats. I'll leave the back seats in because I don't really need to remove those. And I'll be laying this sound deadening material all over the floor bed. Hopefully that has some little upgrade, I don't know, hopefully it makes a difference. It said it should lower road noise and everything, which again, I've used it in the past in cars and it worked great. And I've used it in the soundbar of my old JK and it worked great. So assuming putting it all over the floor should work equally as great in theory. So let me go ahead and get that started and get this all knocked out. So I finally got the inside clear seats, well, 2 front seats removed. Back seats you can just flip up, but I did get the my underseat storage box removed. These are what the actual storage box, or the little, if yours has it, or the little storage tray if you don't have the lock box. This is what, excuse me, this is what that attaches to. So what I'm going to do is, because my box that I got goes right here on the passenger side, I'm actually going to utilize these 2 mounts and drill straight through the box and the inside, mount those up, and then mount the sub afterwards, so that way I can use these as a brace and hold the box down so it doesn't slide around or anything. If you're removing your seats, these 2 plugs or whatever, the red clips on each, the red clips on each one under the seat. Make sure you disconnect your battery, because these go to like your airbags and heated and everything. You don't want to have any issues with your airbags by pulling those out and not removing your battery. But yeah, so let me go ahead and get this out and get started. This is so much work. A minute, like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Alright, finally done. Got all the floor covered. Pretty much everything is covered aside from, there's little sections. For the most part, everything is covered. And I don't know how well y'all be able to hear the sound test, but it sounds very, very solid and not like a tin can like it used to. Obviously that's the outside, but this is what this spot right here, specifically under the back passenger seat, that's what this sounded like, and now it sounds like. So it definitely made a difference so far. Now I'm about to finally get the sub installed. When you remove the panel for the B pillar, you'll see a bunch of wires, and the wires I'm tapping into for the line out converter is going to be the sound bar. So the gray and green and the gray and dark green is going to be for your left sound bar. That's these two right here. And then the gray and green wire is the positive wire, and the gray and dark green wire is the negative wire. And then for your right rear, you're gonna have a dark green and regular green for the positive, and then a dark green and a gray for the negative. And that's what I'm going to be tapping into. So I've already started one of them. Tap it into the rear right speaker. I just removed the covering off of the wire, and I put a little hole through the wire, slid it through, and then wrapped it around to get a good connection, because I don't have any solder right now. And crazy enough, no stores near me had any solder. So I'm gonna do it like that, and then I'll just wrap each wire in tester tape, and then wrap all of the wires in tester tape, and it should be good enough. I shouldn't have any issues with that. So let me go ahead and finish that up and get this all wired in. All right, so I got the wires for the line out converter connected to the wires that's in the B pillar. So now I'm trying to figure out where I want to place the amp, and obviously the box goes under the seat. The amp I was gonna do behind the seat, but I don't really feel like taking out the back seats, which is actually what I'm sitting in. As you can see, the amp and everything right there in the seats. What I'm gonna do probably is, obviously you see I'm making a little template. I'm gonna mount it under the passenger seat, and this should be pretty safe because this part is raised up and this is lower where the drain pan, where the drain plugs are at and everything, and there's one right there. So in the event there was gonna get any water in here, it would slope down and pool right there, and I can just drain it out. So the amp should be fairly safe under the seat. So that's where I am going to be mounting the amp. I just got to cut a piece of board to make a little place to mount it onto it, and then I'll tie it into the bolts for the seat. That way it'll keep it all secure and everything, and I don't have to worry about anything. And then yeah, everything should be good with that, and this should be done pretty soon. Laying the floor mat, the sound deadening mat and everything was the hardest part, the most time consuming part and everything. But with that done, running the wires for the amp, I mean, that's pretty easy, and I should be dumping here pretty soon. So let me go ahead and get to that so I can wrap this up. All right, so I got everything ran, all the wires and everything. So the line out converter, like I showed y'all before. Let's see if I can get it from this angle. All right, so line out converter is back here, and it runs down the auxiliary, the RCA cables run down here, under here, and then I just routed them up all the way around. So, and then can't see it, but it goes behind the little belt buckles and down under this kick panel, and then it comes out right here, taped up, and then they're not plugged in right now. Well, actually they are. This is the RCA, and I just left. I didn't want to cut it, so I just looped it around, and it went back to the other side of the amp. And then the speaker wire follows the same path, and it'll plug in right there. Then you got the power, ground, and remote wire that follow this path, go in through that kick panel, go up through the firewall, and then obviously connect where they need to be. And then the amp is mounted under the driver's seat. I originally had it under the passenger seat, like I started in the video, but excuse me, getting through the passenger firewall is a pain in the ass. You got to do it through the wheel well and go through this grommet, whatever that's holding a bunch of wires with a coat hanger or whatever to try to push it through. I gave up. I didn't feel like going through all of that to continue to go through that, so I just ran it through that way and put it on the driver's side. Still under the seat, still out of the way, still clean. Alright, so it is another day, but I did finish up with the install of the sub. I got everything all mounted and put away, tucked away, put back together, and it sounds real good. All the wires is ran where they need to be. Everything looks as factory as you can make it with having an aftermarket sub, but when you look at the vehicle from the side, you can barely even tell that it's in there. So let me get around there and show y'all what it looks like so far. So from this angle, like, you can see it, obviously you can see it, but it doesn't stick out the front, or if it does, barely sticks out the front. But from a top view, it's like it's not even there. But this is what it looks like under the seat. A lot of worries that I had was about the speaker or the sub touching the bottom of the seat, but there's a lot of clearance for the cone to flex without you having any issues or anything like that. So I'm not too concerned about the flex of the sub and it hitting the bottom of the seat, because it does have that space, so you won't be able to, I mean, it won't hit. But I don't have passengers, but if I do and they sit in that seat, they're gonna get a nice little booty massage the whole time. From here is the amp. You can see with my seat up, I mean, it's tucked under there fairly decent. I mean, if you're looking, you can see it obviously, but at a quick glance you'll never know what's under there. And I might find something that can cover it up a little more or whatever, but I'm good the way that it is. See, just looking in the vehicle, excuse me, you're not knowing what it is or what's under there. And because it's mounted, the bracket is mounted under here, and then the holes for the actual screw that mounts the amp to that board is under that. If anybody broke in and tried to steal it, they'd have to take my whole seat out, so not too worried about that. Hell, if they want to go through it and take the whole seat out to get a $80 amp, go for it. But you can see from under here, can't really tell, but it's under there. You can barely see it. I took it for a test drive to see how it sounds. Sounds great. It's a big upgrade from what the factory gives you, but again, like I said before, the factory isn't bad. But thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow me along for more upgrades that I'm having in the future.